Hello everyone, my name is Susie Swope, and today I'm going to be talking to you about a slightly rougher period in my life when I was going through this really big depressive state that I'm not going to call depression because it was never officially diagnosed as such, but it was definitely the hardest part of my life. So without further ado, here is my story about how Animal Crossing was able to help me deal with the problems that I was going through. For those of you that are new to the franchise, Animal Crossing New Leaf is a game in which players are invited to a town of anthropomorphic animals to become a mayor. As the mayor of this town, players make decisions that directly affect how their towns grow and function, from creating town ordinances to building public works projects. This is all done through the use of bells or in-game currency that players can obtain by selling items such as fruits, fish, bugs, and more at the local item shop. Mayors also have the opportunity to talk to their villagers and create bonds with them through doing menial tasks such as delivering things, playing hide and seek, and much more. My adventure first started on March 7th, 2017 when I first got the game Animal Crossing New Leaf. When I first started it, I just couldn't believe how much fun it was to be the mayor of a town. I really enjoyed talking to my villagers and getting to know them, giving them quirky catchphrases and everything else. The music was honestly just so soothing and it just made me feel so calmed and excited to play the game. I was instantly roped into paying off a debt to Tom Nook. But it didn't really matter because it was just so much fun collecting bells and fishing for creatures and catching bugs that it didn't really matter much. But after a while, as all good things must end eventually, I just started losing interest in the game. Didn't have as much fun playing it as I did when I started, so I closed my DS and left my town for a while. In April of the following year, I finally came back to Animal Crossing, but it really wasn't for that great of a reason. I was feeling the worst that I ever had before. I had never felt so down and so hopeless in my life. I really didn't want to live. I figured if I pretended that I didn't exist, and then maybe someday I wouldn't. I felt so lonely and uncared about. Even though there were so many people around me that loved me and supported me, I just couldn't see them. It felt like my problems were suddenly so much larger than I was, and that I just couldn't stand up to them alone. But when I started playing a game again, I was so excited to see that my villagers had actually missed me. One of them sent me a letter that read that they missed me and were wondering how I was, and I read it and I started crying because I knew that I wasn't alright. But playing this game finally made me feel happy because there was somebody there that was truly worried about how I was, even if I really wasn't okay. So with renewed vigor, I continued playing Animal Crossing once again because this game, it gave me goals to accomplish. It gave me things to do inside its universe. From paying off my debt to Tom Nook for buying a house to completing the museum with bugs, fish, and fossils. Because I had to go out and catch each individual bug and fish, and some of them only come out at certain times of day or night. So it started to give me a schedule. I knew that I had to go to the shop from blank time to blank time, otherwise it was gonna close. So my sleep schedule became normal again, and that in itself can really help. I learned to make my town perfect. I started planting flowers and trees and doing public works project as a mayor, so I could make my villagers happy in the place that they lived in. And as stupid as it sounds, it gave me a very small reason. It gave me hope that I could control something, even if it was this little tiny universe, and that I can almost use it to pause time so that I could get better through it. Even if I wasn't doing so well in the moment, nothing can stay bad forever. In the time I played this game, it gave me a chance to recover, and it helped me recover by giving me just a little bit of control, by giving me just a little bit of hope, and just a little bit of happiness in the small things that I accomplished throughout the day. My life back then was a perfect example of how gaming can help somebody on the road to recovery from a depressive state. There has been tons of research done on video gaming and the effect that it has on those with mental disorders. The ones I'm going to tell you about were all done with a similar premise or gameplay as Animal Crossing New Leaf. All of them together talk about video gaming and the fact that it has the potential to increase motivation, well-being, problem-solving skills, and the ability to deal with stress in those that play it. Here are a few different studies that research the effects that video gaming has on depression and its symptoms. First is Theong Ling from the Nanyang Technological University in Singapore that researched game-based digital interventions for depression. Next is Joquan and Agura from the Department of Neurology in the University of California in their research on late-life depression. Last but not least is Daniel Lotan from the Center for Collaborative Learning and Teaching, which researched video game addiction and its relation to stress, anxiety, depression, and coping. Lee's research on game-based digital interventions for depression analyzed 19 pre-existing studies. These studies were chosen because they focused on gaming's effects on depression and its symptoms. These were then broken up into 4 different categories: psychoeducation and training, virtual reality exposure therapy, exercising, and entertainment. Lee's study found that evidence from neuropsychological research further suggests the therapeutic value of game-based digital interventions in depression therapy, finding that positive game-playing experiences trigger the release of hormones such as endorphins and dopamine that are responsible for feelings of pleasure and well-being. Lee's research also found that psychoeducation and training interventions were able to increase a patient's motivation, problem-solving skills, and ability to deal with stressful situations. Anagura's research on late-life depression featured 22 community-based participants that suffer from late-life depression. Late-life depression is anyone over the age of 65 that is diagnosed with major depressive disorder. These people were then split into 2 groups. One group played an interactive iPad game, which was called NeuroRacer, and the other participated in gaming therapy. His findings were that playing video games helps to improve the functionality and mood in patients. He then determined if a video game designed to target cognitive control defects could improve cognitive control functions in older adults with late-life depression, it might be able to improve depression in this population. He is saying that if video games can help people control the symptoms that are ailing them with late-life depression in this age, then it might be able to help not only those dealing with late-life depression, but those dealing with depression in general. Last but not least, Lotan's research on video game addiction focused on video game effect on stress, anxiety, depression, and coping. The first was a survey, and the second an online analysis of the effects that gaming has on people. He found that people using video games as an escape from reality are less likely to experience increased symptoms of stress, anxiety, and depression. This is most likely because video games, such as Animal Crossing New Leaf, give players a sense of control in their own little world, such as what happened with me. Because each of these studies were done on games that are similar to Animal Crossing New Leaf, we can assume that Animal Crossing New Leaf has the possibility to help people cope with depression in the same ways. I and many other people are proof that video gaming can help cope with depression and its symptoms. Video gaming alone is not enough to cure depression, but is a good start to getting help and getting control of your life with the motivation, well-being, and problem-solving skills that it helps provide through its gameplay. Thank you for tuning in. See you next time.